So I'm sure most videos you see on YouTube will always advise you to go ahead and get a password manager. It is very good, it is very that. They will always say that, but do they tell you the risks involved when using a password manager, or do they tell you the risk involved? Most of them don't, but there are risks involved in using a password manager. So aside the unaffordability, most people have questions and concerns as regards password managers. Most people ask questions like, is it safe? What happens if the particular password manager is breached? What happens if the company is hacked? What happens to our password? Does it mean hackers will have our passwords? So there was this question that someone asked that stood out. The person said, have you ever thought about this? What if this password manager as a company folds up and they don't have money to continue their services? What happens to all the passwords you have stored with them? What do they do, or what do you do then? Well, this question I couldn't answer it at that point, but I was able to answer it later after making my research. I'll give you that answer by the end of this video. So in this video, I'll be addressing the concerns people have as regards password managers. I would also be debunking lots and lots of misconceptions people have about password managers. And then finally, I'll be listing the risks involved in using a password manager, then answering the final question: should I get a password manager, or is it safe or advisable to use a password manager? So welcome to SC Cyber Safe. My name is Emmanuel Ngwemena. What we do here is we teach online safety, digital safety, and also expose the latest scams and tricks used by scammers around the world. We do it in a way that everyone will understand. Even a layman that does not know anything about cyber security would understand. So I'm going to briefly explain what a password manager is for those who don't know what a password manager is. But if you know what a password manager is, you can go ahead and just skip to the point where I talk on the risks involved in getting a password manager, so you don't waste your time. We all know that typically we are advised to use strong passwords, and when I mean strong passwords, your password must be complex, it must be random, it must be unique. So most people have lots of different social media platforms. Most people are on over 30 social media platforms or websites and banking stuff. There are lots of things you need passwords for, and passwords are confidential. But you can't keep the rules of using a good password by having lots of passwords in your head. It's not possible to use lots of different passwords for your different accounts and then making them unique and different. You can't keep all those passwords in your head. Even those people that try doing it, most times you see them forgetting their password, and then you see them always resetting their passwords for these social media accounts. Why those ones that really don't know much try to write down their password, which is not safe and is not advisable. So this is where password manager comes to play. This is where password manager's usefulness is shown. So you can go ahead and use a password manager which will automatically generate passwords for you that are strong, that are unique, that are complex, they are random. It does all those things for you, so you don't need to remember your password for your social media accounts or any platform which you require passwords. What you just need to do is remember a master password which you use to lock all your passwords. It's just like a vault where you have money inside, you have your documents, you might have some keys and everything, but you need to know that one pin or that one lock code to unlock that vault. It's the same way a password manager is. It's the same term that goes with a password manager. You have a vault where you put your passwords and then maybe some important documents. Most times you have storage space limited to 1 gigabyte, which you can put your will or your debt waiver, as people might call it. You could put your social security number, your credit card details, and lots of sensitive information, just the sensitive information, because you don't have much space. 1 gig thereabout is not much to put all documents inside. So it's just meant for sensitive details that you only want sensitive people to access, or that you want to access yourself. It will take a hacker a lifetime to hack a password that has been created or generated by a password manager, because it's going to be very difficult. It will take a long time. If you are using a brute force or a dictionary attack, it just won't work. Most times hackers don't have that time to start doing that. Once they try, they just give up. So a password manager is also extremely useful because, for example, now you want to fill a form, maybe a survey or something. Most times you have to put your first name, your last name, your phone number, your home address, and all those things. But with a password manager, once you are logged in, it just automatically fills those details for you because it has all those details already stored. So you don't need to start filling it. At every form you need to fill, you start putting your name, your number. It relieves you of those stress, so it does that automatically for you. So you can see how powerful a password manager is. So I would also advise, if you are using a password manager, or if you are going to use a password manager, make sure after using a master password you set what they call two-factor authentication. And when you use your two-factor authentication, use an app like Auth or Google Authentication. So without further ado, let me explain the few risks involved in using a password manager. The first risk is single point of failure. What do I mean by single point of failure? It's just like putting all your eggs in one basket. All your data is stored in one place, which means if a hacker gains control of your master password, he has access to your documents and your files and your other passwords. So you might want to ask, how is it now possible for a hacker to get my master password? Will I give the hacker my master password? Well, no. This is the way most hackers have gotten it in the past. The reason I'm saying this is because it has happened. That's why I mentioned it as part of a risk. For those who don't know much about online safety or don't know the best online safety practices, you might see yourself getting infected with malware such as keyloggers. What keyloggers are, they are like, they monitor your keystroke. So if you are typing a password, whatever you are typing on your keyboard, it could be on your phone, on your computer, whatever you are typing, it registers those things that you are typing and then sends it to the hacker remotely. So the hacker has those details. If it's password, it has them. Whatever you are typing, it has it. So automatically the hacker has those details. So the best thing for you to do in that case is you need to have an antivirus in the first place before having a password manager. Take note of that. If you don't have an antivirus, I wouldn't advise you to get a password manager in the first place. But I know most people that use password managers value their security and obviously will have an antivirus. The second risk involved is forgetting your master password. This might sound really ridiculous to you. You might be like, why would someone forget the master password? Don't forget, a master password is supposed to be strong. It's supposed to have all the basics of having a strong password. Once you forget your master password, you would lose access to your vault entirely. It's just like you have a vault where you keep your money, your keys, and some other important documents, and then you forget the code to that particular vault. You lose access to it. It's the same thing that happens with your password managers. So I will advise you, if you have a master password and you are likely to forget it, just write it down somewhere in a paper perhaps and keep it somewhere safe. Don't keep it where anybody else will have access to it or somewhere anyone can see. Don't just drop it on your bed, on your chair, on your desk. Don't put it somewhere anyone can have access to it. Keep it very safe. But the best advice I could give you as regarding this is know your password, so you can create a strong password that you will always remember. I did a video on how to create a strong password that is easy to remember. You can check the card which I will link above. After this video, you can go ahead and watch it. It's very easy to, using that method, it's very easy to create a very strong master password. And perhaps I forgot to mention, if you lose access to your master password, if you lose your master password, you have to start resetting all your passwords one by one. For example, your Facebook, you go and click on forgot password and reset it. For all your social media accounts, all your banking platforms, you have to do the same thing, resetting it one by one, which could be a whole lot of stress. So your master password is not something you want to forget. The third risk involved is using bad password managers. And what do I mean by bad password managers? I mean this in two ways. There could be a malicious password manager and there could be a relatively new password manager that is just breaking into the market. So at this point, let me answer that particular question which the person asked in the beginning. What happens if the password manager company or as a company folds up? What happens if they say we are no longer offering these services, we do not have money to continue this company? What happens? Do they write all your passwords in a document and send it to you, or do they send a paper to you, or how do they deal with this? Well, they wouldn't do that because your passwords are encrypted, so they wouldn't come out as text. So you wouldn't be able to see your password. The only thing that they can do in that case is to advise you, perhaps 60 days. They will give you 60 days and tell you that they will soon fold up, that you should go ahead and reset all the passwords you have for all your social media accounts, all your banking platforms. So you have to be doing that one by one and start choosing new passwords. You click on forgot passwords for all those other platforms and create a new password for all those accounts. Or there's a way that you migrate from one password manager to another password manager. Few password managers have that ability, or few password managers have that service, that feature enabled, but some or most don't have, because they wouldn't want you migrating from their own platform to another platform easily. But few of them have. I wouldn't want to mention names. So most of the risks I mentioned in this video are human based. They are based on human errors, not the password manager. It's not the fault of the password manager when I talked on you forgetting your master password or you getting hacked by a malware and so on. So it's based on human. So but if you are online safety aware or conscious, you should be able to avoid all these risks involved. So the big question is, should you get a password manager? The answer is yes, you should get a password manager. A hacker would rather prefer to hack a password generated by somebody from different accounts rather than the one generated by a password manager, which is very extremely complex. So a hacker will do it even half time, and even if it does, it will take a lifetime to be able to break one of those types of password generated by a password manager. So it's advisable you get one. You can get a free one at least to start out with, but if you know you have lots of devices, I would advise you to get a paid plan or a paid option. Just subscribe to any of these popular ones and use it. So yes, a password manager is important. If after watching this video, for those who password manager might just be new to you and you didn't get the full details of what a password manager is, which I didn't do justice to that in this video because that is not what this video is all about, you can go ahead and watch videos on YouTube of what password manager does exactly, the services and the features it offers. Thank you for watching this video. Go ahead and give us a like on this video and also subscribe if you are new. If you heard what we do on this channel, I would really love you to subscribe. So thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Stay safe.